receiving a lot of messages and replies on videos where I talk about why I've embraced atheism. And I always expect a mixed response, either positive, negative, or something in between. And recently I've gotten several messages. It's kind of like people who just can't get it through their thick skulls why I talk about this stuff. I make it very clear in every video that what I talk about isn't everyone's experience. I'm not attacking your belief system. I'm showing how I personally, or someone I've met, has dealt with spiritual abuse or some kind of toxic dynamic. And it's not about every person's journey. And it's like when people come out as an atheist, gay, or any reason, their experience with family, friends, and society is going to be different. Because different people are involved. And when I consistently get people who listen to my videos and just can't get it through their skulls, I'm not angry at God any more than any adult is angry at Santa. You can't be angry at somebody who doesn't exist. I don't think I've made a video for almost 6 months where I have expressed anger at an invisible made-up deity. Am I angry at God? No. I'm angry at the image that God represents. There's a difference. And the people who seem to comment on my channel just can't get it. You can't be angry at a made-up figment of people's imagination. You cannot be angry at the Easter Bunny, Santa, or anything that's made up. They can't have wronged you because they don't exist. I'm not angry at Harry Potter either. Sometimes I am angry or frustrated over the people who seem to believe that figments of imagination are real and cause real harm due to those beliefs in figments of imagination. So, the philosophies are what I'm angry at, not the made-up people. And for some reason, I'm not sure why these people watch these videos, because I state it emphatically why I feel the way I do. But for some reason, they just can't get it. So for username VernsYT, he or she wrote that atheist equals someone who can't stop talking about a God they pretend doesn't exist. Well, this person obviously doesn't understand what I'm talking about. I seldomly, to almost never, do I talk about God. I'm talking about how institutions work. How people who use an invisible, made-up God's identity to justify toxic, dangerous, and abusive behaviors. Even when I talk about why I became an atheist, I'm talking about how the church works, how so-called Christian moralists, how they behave, and what they give back to society. Nowhere do I ever say that I hate God or I hate anything that I deem made up. It's the belief and the people who believe in it that are causing the harm. And this is what we call gaslighting. Because when this person leaves a message like this on my videos, they're not addressing the real problem. And instead of saying an atheist is someone who won't talk about a made-up God, they should say, maybe there's a reason why somebody talks about harmful beliefs. And I don't talk about God. I talk about the people who believe in God, what they do, whom they've harmed. That's what we talk about. And yeah, it is gaslighting for someone to say that an atheist is someone who can't stop talking about a pretend God. Pretend gods don't hurt people, but the people who believe in these pretend gods hurt people. And they can't get it. When you're so indoctrinated and heaped into this kind of environment, they can't get it. I had to have extensive therapy to understand the gaslighting that Christians heap on me on a daily basis. The "you were never a Christian" is a classic sign of gaslighting. I've been told it's always a Christian, every single time, it's always a Christian who says that you just want to sin. And my response is, no, I would just stay in church because that's where the biggest sinners are. The Robert Morris and Josh Duggars of the world, they didn't leave church to sin. They stayed right in the pews. And it's interesting how people just can't get it. I talked to my mom recently, who later told me to go no contact. I told her about the Assemblies of God sex cover-up. And instead of saying, oh, that's terrible, Christians are really failing at protecting innocent people, she said the people who did it aren't really Christians. There's no accountability. If you can call somebody not a Christian, then you've created a distance. Well, real Christians wouldn't do this. I honestly believe they would. Because it really does take mostly everyone in church to enable this kind of behavior. I'm not angry at God. God doesn't exist. He's never hurt me. He's never given me anything. He's never done anything to me. I mean, I dislike God as much as I do Harry Potter. They don't exist. They can't hurt me. It's the living that hurts people. The dead can't hurt you. The fiction can't hurt you. And Christians just never seem to get it. If a Christian in one of the biggest denominations in North America consistently protect predators, instead of anyone saying, well, Christians really are dropping the ball, they don't seem to consistently prevent this kind of behavior. No, they always say they're not a Christian. Because if you can change the identity and occupation of the person who's a predator to where instead of them being a Christian where they're held accountable, no, they're just a wolf in sheep's clothing. They never take accountability for the environment and what that environment creates and enables. There's no accountability. And when I get comments on my channel of people who just can't get it, no atheist is angry at God. You can't be angry or frustrated with a made-up figment of people's imagination. we talk about the real harm that Christians do every day. Because only the living can hurt people. A fake, made-up God can't hurt people. Now, his name can hurt people. But he has no accountability. He has no guilt because he doesn't exist. It's simple. And Christians just can't take accountability. It doesn't matter if the person is Christian or not. If they call themselves a Christian, all Christians should do some internal reflection, like, did we enable this person? Was there anything we could have done to prevent this kind of behavior? There's no internal reflection. If they can say he's not a Christian, they don't have to take accountability. I talk about Christian harm. I don't talk about how an invisible, made-up God hurts people, because you can't hurt people if you're not alive and existing. And for some reason, religious people just can't get it. And they have no intention of getting it. Because if you admit that someone who calls themselves a Christian should be held accountable by Christians, but they don't. Every time someone leaves a nasty, just downright ignorant comment on my channel, every single time it's a Christian. Every single time. And just remember, every time you leave a nasty little comment, there's only two things I'm doing. I'm going to read it, I'm going to take a picture of it and put it on my channel so we can talk about ignorance, and then I'm deleting it. I've deleted hundreds of replies on my channel because people are coming to this channel for several reasons. Education, boredom, they want to know what it's like to come out, or somebody who's escaped a similar issue or environment and they just want to compare notes, commiserate. They don't want to see messages of ignorant, bigoted people on my channel. If it harms the vibe, I'm deleting it. And I have no regrets about doing it. But yeah, I'm reading it, I'm taking a picture of it, I'm posting it on my channel, and then I'm deleting it. And when I get at least 5 negative comments, I'm going to be posting it on my channel. So, yeah. It never changes. It really never changes. And for the username CVVGFF5677, I'm not 40 years old. I'm not childless. I'm child-free, and I'm only 31. And people saying I shouldn't be giving advice. I'm not giving advice. The first videos I ever made, I made it pretty clear. I'm not giving advice. I'm not a therapist. I don't have a PhD or a master's in psychology. I'm sharing my experiences, or people that I've met who've given me their experience. Nowhere on my channel am I telling anybody what to do. I'm not giving advice. I'm sharing my story. I make it very clear the life choices I make is to make myself happy. Nowhere in any of my videos am I telling people how to live their lives. If you think that's what's going on, then you need to recharge your battery. I do not give advice. I explain 1,200 reasons why I left the church. 157 reasons why I embraced atheism. My deconstruction videos. No video, to my knowledge, do I ever tell people how to live their lives, how to navigate life at all, and what life choices to make. I talk about why I chose my life. Nowhere in any of my videos do I tell people how to live their lives. So when ignorant people like CVVGFF5677 says that people who are 40 years old and childless shouldn't be giving advice, I don't give advice. I'm not, I don't have several degrees to do that. And anyone who's giving advice on how to live without a PhD in psychology, human behavior, and many other niches of education has no business giving a single life lesson. I talk about what I've gone through. I've talked about how therapy has helped me. Nowhere do I give advice. I don't tell people to do anything. I might tell people not to be a raging racist bigot, but you don't need a degree to tell people to do that. I don't give advice. I do not have the equipment and the education and many diplomas and degrees, and I'm not licensed to do that. But for some reason, Christians or people who've been married 2 years think they're wise and educated enough to give life discussions. It's funny how people can watch a video of mine and miss the entire point of it. When I say I left Christianity because of a toxic dynamic, I'm not telling you to leave your church. I'm not telling you to be an atheist. I'm saying why I did. And for people who are watching and just can't tell the difference, there's a difference. I don't know how many times I have to say it before Christians get it through their thick heads. I'm not giving advice. I'm talking about my past or my present life choices. When I talk about being child-free, not childless like this ignorant commenter usually says, that's my choice. And I make it very clear in my videos, you can choose whatever life you want, as long as you have the critical thinking skills to actually make a choice. There are a lot of women out there that do not have a choice. I make it very clear. I'm not giving advice. I'm telling you what I did based on my personality, my background, and my pursuits. And I make it pretty clear people can live the way they want. So no, I don't give advice. And I'm not angry at a God that doesn't exist. I'm angry at the abusive, ignorant, entitled, and bigoted people I've come across that identify as Christian. And I'm not saying that every Christian is a bigot. Nowhere have I ever said that. So, if you're going to roast somebody with a channel, get your facts straight. I'm not 40. I'm 31. I'm not childless. I'm child-free. There's a difference. It's a choice. And I'm not angry at a God. He doesn't exist. I'm angry at people who never take accountability, who instead of doing internal reflection, decides that if we just label this person differently, we don't have to take accountability. And don't tell people if they weren't a Christian or not. You don't have a clue what you're talking about. And people telling me my story, if it's not your name and it's not your body, you don't know what you're talking about. But for those people who like to listen to my videos, for any valid reason that you have, and leave kind, wonderful comments below, or even if you leave a comment that's a completely different point of view or the entire opposite of how I live my life. I like reading comments. Just stop telling me what I am, who I am, and what I'm saying in my videos. That's all I'm going to say. Because it brings me great pleasure to delete rude, insensitive, and judgmental comments. And every single time, it's a Christian that leaves that comment. Atheists don't leave rude comments. Not in years of having channels on YouTube. So feel free to leave a comment, and as long as it doesn't harm the vibe of my channel and wouldn't run someone's day who comes and reads those things, it will stay. And as long as something doesn't insult me, I always respond with a thumbs up or a heart or something. But I will call people out for doing ignorance. And the people that leave these comments are the reason why I make these videos. Those people are the reason. And I'm not going to let people's comments run my day. And I'm not going to let their comments stay there to annoy other people. So, no, I don't give life advice, because to give life advice and you're not licensed is probably a felony. You cannot diagnose people. And I am a licensed medical professional, but I don't give life tips. And no, you don't have to have children or to have a degree to know how to be a good parent. And some of the worst marriage and child care advice I've ever heard are from Christians who think they know what they're talking about after having been married 2 years or have one child. I've met with hundreds of thousands of parents in therapy. I know what kind of behavior harms kids. But I don't want to give life advice. I don't tell people how to live their lives. I will point out if a popular life choice isn't a good idea. But I never tell people how to live their lives. I'm not a life coach. And you don't need to have 5 kids to be a good parent or to know what you're doing. So if you have any questions or just want to commiserate, leave comments down below. If you're going to mansplain and tell me what I say in my own videos, don't leave a comment. It's Tuesday, and I should not be waking up at 9 a.m. having to read some ignorant religious comment that is not the first this week. So yeah, it's not okay. And these people know I don't give life advice. And if they don't, then they definitely need to recharge their battery.